Hello and welcome into the Florida Vibe Selection Show. We'll be bringing you the 10 newest names that are heading down to the beautiful Gulf Coast, Bradenton, Florida for the 2026 Professional Softball League season. I'm Cory and joined by former Division I college softball player, the team reporter for the Florida Vibe, and the owner of the Hot Corner, Tori Bessire. And Tori, when we think of the Professional Softball League, it's the inaugural season of this league, which is a massive step forward for the professional softball realm in itself. But also when you look at this league, it's stacked top to bottom with talent as well.
Well, it's insane. There was such a big talent gap. You know, we not only have one league, but now we have two. And if you look within this league, there are so many ladies still in the super regionals. There's so much talent top to bottom, and it all starts here at the Vibe. We're going to talk about some of those returners that have had such successful professional seasons already.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, it's the first season of the PSL, first season of Vibe Softball as a member of the Professional Softball League. And yes, plenty of new names to be excited about, but as Tori mentioned, some great returners that are cornerstones of this franchise that will be returning this season. Let's take a look at some of them now. We have Kara Canedo, the outfielder for Liberty, all ASUN freshman team, all conference team, ASUN tournament MVP. She was major in her time with the Flames. Callie Hevlin, a 4-year infielder for the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, she's a hitter. She batted .380 with 15 home runs in her senior season. Bree Peck, there's so much you can say about the player she is, the third baseman for Virginia Tech, and just rewrote the record books at the plate for the Hokies. McKenna Smith, the catcher at Cal, who also in her time there, she was a soccer goalkeeper as well. So dual sport athlete, just competitor is the way you can describe McKenna Smith. Sophia Nugent, the catcher at Tennessee, Oklahoma, won back-to-back national championships with the Sooners in 2022 and 2023 before taking her skills on over to the Rocky Top. And then AJ Andrews, the legend, the outfielder at LSU, revolutionary, the first woman to win a Golden Glove. And we will talk about her a little bit more in just a moment. But Tori, from all that talent that we just saw on our screen, what stands out to you about this batch that they're bringing back this year?
I think it really starts with Bree Peck. You know, all of the power behind that bat, one of the best to ever do it at Virginia Tech. She's one of those that when she stands in the box, you can tell from her demeanor, from the swagger, that something is about to happen. She has seen the postseason. She has played at the highest level. That bat, she's a fierce competitor. And also when you look at Smith, we talked about it. She, of course, was a soccer goaltender. There's not a better backstop that you could imagine because any ball that's coming her way, well, she's got it on lock.
Yeah, it was fun to hear her say that her dream growing up was always soccer. It was her first love. And then when she got that call that she could join the team as well and she got her first start, it was life-changing for her. So going to be so much fun to have her with the Vibe this season. But you mentioned it, Bree Peck. I want to touch on her a little bit more for a second because she is just a franchise-changing type of presence at the plate. I mean, the records that she set with the Hokies, she was the all-time home run leader, RBIs, total bases. When she steps in the plate, you do not want to be within a 5-mile radius of her.
And that's not even talking about what she does also as an outfielder. She was one of the best center fielders that we had seen. So athletic. She covers the gap. She's also got a cannon for an arm. So we've talked about all of the hitting stats, but pay attention to her leadership in the outfield as well.
And let's talk Callie Hevlin for a moment as well. I mean, she's just another seasoned hitter coming out of the SEC. They called her consistent Callie for what she does, not only at the plate, but at second base as well.
Yeah, anybody that comes from Bama, especially the era that she was there, SEC, it doesn't get better than that. She is someone that also runs the bases so well. She'll take advantage of that. She is just one of those 5-tool players that the athleticism doesn't get much better, and she's just a spark plug in the lineup.
So I feel like from what we've said so far, we're seeing just diversity within this group of returners that are coming back. A lot of players that can do it all.
Yeah, but the one piece I think that we definitely need to get into, what we are truly missing is some pitching. When it comes to the circle, we've seen it in the super regionals all postseason. The circle is going to be key. As hitters get better, so has the pitching. But we have a little bit of a gap right here. So what we really need to see here in this selection show are some quality pitchers. And I know from the owners of this franchise, the coach, they're going to be looking for some serious talent. And I'll tell you what, Annie, it's out there after we've seen so far in the tournament.
I know, I was just about to say, all weekend long, I've been like glued to the TV screen watching the Super Regionals. It's been amazing. And the amount of unreal arms that we've watched, I mean, the talent in the circle is better than ever. But before we really dive into the Vibes needs for this upcoming season, the talent that we could see potentially in this draft class, let's park on AJ Andrews. Because I think when you hear that name is going to be joining the Florida Vibe this season, it's like legend AJ Andrews, MLB Network host, all-time LSU, great. So let's talk about AJ Andrews, and let's hear it from the source herself, because Tori, you got to sit down with the awesome AJ. Let's take a listen to that interview.
Hello, hello. Guess who's back again? This is before a lot of people's time, that song, but you know.
I love it.
It's back. Call a friend. We could do Return of the Mac. There's a lot of songs we could add to this. But yeah, thank you for having me.
I mean, you've done it all, girl. Why now the comeback? Why the Vibe? I think that's, what everyone wants to know.
Yeah, so the Vibe has just always been extremely supportive of me within my life outside of softball. And being that I'm a TV host on top of, playing competitively, it's really hard to be able to do both and dedicate 100% time to both. And so when are the moments when I'm able to go out on the play and give it my all, I'm able to do that. And the Vibe are very understanding about, okay, well, then the times when I got to go report for either MLB or whatever else it is, the Vibe has always been super supportive of me being the best I can be on and off the field. So absolutely love the Vibe. And, I think that softball has just never gotten away from me. It's never something I've stopped doing or being a part of. And so I think that it's only fitting that it just continues on. And yeah, I feel like I'm, the saying, I just feel like I'm not done yet and getting into my Tom Brady era, coming back.
I mean, I used to be such a big fan of yours growing up, watching you in the outfield. Used to watch your training videos when I made the transition out to outfield. And then now you said it, working at MLB. Can you give people a little bit insight into what you do day to day for the network?
Sure. So I'm a TV host. The last 4 years, I was hosting a show called Play Ball, and Play Ball is basically a show that highlights, it's tailored a little bit towards the youth, but really highlighting kind of what happened throughout the week in baseball. And so you get to just kind of see a recap show of all the fun things that took place. And then this year, I'm going to be mainly on the spotlight, kind of discussing and being more a part of the conversations within softball, because Major League Baseball has a partnership with AUSL. So it's going to be bridging Dropping Diamonds and Major League Baseball together for this year and being able to amplify professional softball in more ways. So it's going to be exciting. That's what I typically do with MLB, and then all sorts of other things that kind of come into play. But I would say that's kind of the gist. So yeah, highlighting and having interviews, conversations with a lot of the different players in Major League Baseball. And then this year it will also be tied into with professional softball.
And you talked about the podcast, but I mean, the media landscape, the landscape of softball is changing so much. How important do you think it is for that coverage of the sport? Where do you see the sport going?
I think the sport's only going to continue to go up. It's something that's moving. I think women's sports in general, we call it a movement, not a moment, right? And it's a movement that's only continuing to progress and only continue to get bigger and better and more amplified. And I feel like it's almost like a shooting arrow. And softball is, we've been pulled back for so long, and now we're just like, someone let us go, and we're just taking off. And so I think there's so many different directions that softball can go, whether it be collegiate or professional. And as long as we can continue to have the right people, the right voices, and the right amplification, the media coverage, the branding, I feel like there's so many different individuals that need to back professional softball, because it's proven to be a sport that not only people are interested in, but that is exciting. I mean, you have breaking records left and right within viewership in collegiate, and then now I believe it's going to be the same within professional. So for me, I think it's only like it's our moment, women in sports, but specifically for softball. And I think people want to support women in sports, and people want to be behind and in front leading the charge. And so I only see softball continuing to get bigger and better for the people that are involved now and for the young athletes that are looking to get involved. Because, years ago, you didn't get to see softball on TV, let alone professional softball on TV. And now, it's really setting the stage and creating new dreams and new goals for so many new young athletes. And I think to me, that's the most exciting part about it.
And I feel like you're one that really paves the way for capitalizing on, being a host and getting your face out there. And I mean, you were on the front cover of The Body Issue, and now we've got $1 million NIL deals. When you look back, like, what would you say to the girl who was playing at LSU?
I would say that work ethic that you pride yourself on is truly pushing you through in every other facet of your life. I was always told when I was young that there may be people that are more talented than you, but there should never be anyone that works harder. And, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I knew no one was going to work harder than me. So it didn't matter how talented you were, it just was not going to beat me.
Last one for you, AJ. What are you most excited about for this season with the Vibe?
I'm most excited about just the new opportunities within the Vibe and the expansion. And I think that softball is only, like I said earlier, getting bigger and better. And I'm excited to be able to be a part of that movement and that moment, and not just speaking to it, but, participating and doing it with a team that has supported me from the beginning of my off the field career. So it's going to be a fun summer, a fun moment to continue to grow the game and continue to showcase all the talent that we have in professional softball to the world.
Well, wow. We can't thank AJ enough for the time that she spent with us, and just inspiration is what I gathered from that interview for young girls across the entire nation. I know she provided so much inspiration to you growing up as well, right?
Oh my goodness. From getting on the screen herself and then just being one of the best outfielders that I've ever seen, she taught me so much about how to put yourself out there, how to be bold not only in your playing style, but also in your career. So for me, of course, I was fangirling a little bit. It was so special to see one of my heroes growing up and get to chat with her. I tell you what, Annie, on the bases, in the outfield, I don't believe that there's anyone better to do it. I know that's a bold statement, but we have an all-time great on our hands. Akron Racers, Chicago Bandits, LSU. She's done it all.
And she's going to be doing it all while she's playing with the Vibe. She's going to be working for MLB Network at the very same time. So she's just killing it from every facet of the game right now. And so, Tori, you touched on it a little bit earlier. You said this team needs pitching, point blank. That's the gaping hole right now when you look at this roster. Before we jump into the Florida Vibe being on the clock, anything else that you see from this team that's like, hey, I'd like a little bit of that right now?
Well, I think a lot of it, as the college landscape changes, the long ball has been everything. And so I think, we have a ton of power, but we still want to see some people that can separate this lineup from the rest of the competition. I would also like to see a little bit of speed and versatility. It never, it always helps to have some more infielders as well. So I'll be looking to see some key defensive players come into this lineup, especially up the middle.
Well, just like that, guys, the Florida Vibe is officially on the clock. We are 1 minute away from getting the first pick of this year's batch of 2026 draftees. And do you think they go pitcher here? Because it seems like that's the most clear need right now.
I think you have to. I think it starts in the circle. That's where you need that one star. You need an ace. You need an arm that's got a ton of innings, somebody that's veteran, somebody that's been in the postseason and has competed at the highest level. So expecting that, I don't know what we'll get, but we will see here coming up.
Anything else you could see them going for, like maybe, a state-of-the-art infielder that they might want to go toward?
I could definitely see that maybe a couple picks later. For me, I feel like you've got to go with a pitcher here, possibly a big bat, but it would take quite the home run hitter.
Well, we are just a few seconds away from our very first pick, and I hear we are receiving it right now. Our number one pick for the Florida Vibe in this season's PSL draft. Going at number 1 is Robin Herron, the arm from Arkansas. Tori, right on the money there. It is an arm that they go with for their first pick, and they are getting quite the arm with Robin Herron. She's a Tampa native, so Florida is basically home to her. Well, it is home to her. She's right from Tampa, but not too far away from where she grew up. Had a 1.98 ERA this season. She has 3 career no-hitters, tying the Arkansas program record. They are getting quite the talent with Robin Herron.
It's the command. It's her ability to move the ball across the plate. The changeup is the difference maker from her. From the left side, she truly does it all, but that whiff rate on the changeup, it doesn't get much better than that.
Insane.
Over 51%. That ranks number 3 in college softball. All pitchers, all pitches. That's a whiff rate of over 51%. In those counts, the changeup, of course, is the difference maker, but she's able to locate on all different sides of the plate. And we've seen it in the supers for her against Duke. She faced some of the best, some of the biggest bats in college softball.
Yeah.
And you know what? She came out on top.
Yeah, it's that ability to thrive under pressure. She's shown that she can do it in the biggest moments in the NCAA. Like, heck, she's about to go and pitch in the Women's College World Series, and now we're going to get to see her do it in the PSL. So truly can't wait to see Robin join this group and be an integral part of this circle that they are trying to build, this pitching staff that is going to be crucial to thrive within the PSL. So Robin Herron going at number 1 for the Florida Vibe. Let's move on. Number 2, we are on the clock right now for our second pick in this draft. Tori, any thoughts on where we might lean here? Do you pick up another arm, or do you put your focus elsewhere right now?
I think you start to shift your idea a little bit. We said a little down the road we were going to need some more infielders. I think you lean that direction. I'm looking for some home run potential this early on in the draft. It's going to need to be a slugger. So when you're looking at that 3-4 hole in your lineup, I think that's where you need to go. And we'll see if they're thinking that same way, but that's where my mind is, Annie.
We saw a lot of slugging this past weekend in the Super Regionals, and so much fun that, Robin Herron, she knows she's going to come and play professionally, and she's still trying to fight to win the Women's College World Series. So exciting. I mean, I feel like so many players right now that are in the fight and are looking professionally are still in the game right now and playing. But time is ticking down. We are about to receive our second overall pick in this year's Florida Vibe draft. So let's go ahead and find out who's number 2. Thank you, Abigail. Number 2, we have Alexis Papillo, the utility and catcher from Alabama. So another member of the Crimson Tide will be joining the Florida Vibe for this season. And such a talented name that they're getting. What comes to mind instantly when you think of Papillo?
I think for me, it's versatility. You can't go wrong with the utility. She also offers you the option to go with the backstop. The one thing that you never want to really put out there is the potential for catchers to get injured, but Annie, it's always a possibility. So having someone as versatile as her to be able to lock down the corner, but also to be able to be a backstop in case you need her. Her ability to go into the gaps and also with the long ball, I think it's a really good decision here. And like I've said, she has played with some of the best that there are when it comes to Alabama softball. So
Yes.
SEC competition, man, it is tense, and she's been there and done that.
Yeah, and this Alabama team has just rolled through the Super Regional, and they're heading on to the Women's College World Series. So yet another future Florida Vibe member that will be joining the hunt for the national title. So we're going to move on ahead to our number 3 pick in this year's draft. We are officially on the clock once again. And so far you've gotten yourself a left-handed pitcher, which, by the way, value bringing in a lefty as well. You always need some of those. And then, like you said, that utility player that can fill in the gaps where you need them, because when you reach these professional ranks, you have people that are so good at every different level and different positions, but you might need to shift it around a little bit. You never know what the need of your team might be.
Yeah, I think right now we're looking really solid when it comes to returners in the outfield, but it never helps. I mean, it never hurts to extend that as well. Maybe get a big defensive presence, somebody that covers a lot of ground and is just coming out of college ball. But if you look at it, what better to complement a lefty to also get somebody on the right side, maybe looking a little bit more spin, but the one thing that we don't see as much with Herron is the rise ball.
Okay, well, just like that, it's time to reveal our number 3 pick for this year's draft. So we'll go ahead and grab our name. And here is the number 3 pick. We have Ruby Malin, the pitcher from Oklahoma State. We got a cowgirl coming down to Florida. Ruby Malin, I mean, oh my goodness, the performances that she has put on this season have been unreal. I think the first one that comes to mind is watching her just be an absolute ace, taking down Oklahoma about a month ago. What do you like about Ruby Malin?
Well, I think it's the rise ball. We saw it on full display, like you said, against Oklahoma. For somebody to be able to go against that lineup and be able to get the swing and misses that she did time and time again, Oklahoma is one of those offenses that they are seasoned. Of course, under Patty Gasso, they know how to make adjustments. But when that rise ball is so good that you're not able to adjust, you know that you're pretty set. And so for her, we had talked about whiff rate, the rise ball, number 5 when it comes to pitches of different pitchers around the nation. 36% whiff rate for a rise ball. That's outstanding.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, you have some pitchers that can generate some swings and misses. You talk about Malin with the rise ball at 36%, and you have Heron with the changeup at 51.9%. So you've just added some serious talent in the circle. And when you talk about Ruby Malin, I think what was so fun to read about is the pedigree that she has in her family. She's the daughter of Wayne and Heidi Malin. She has 2 brothers, Wyatt and Colt. But listen to this, her dad, he played football at both Nebraska and Wyoming, and her grandfather, Wayne, he was a 2-time All-American guard at Nebraska, and then he played in the big leagues as well. He was an NFL player for both the Cleveland Browns and the Minnesota Vikings. So the talent runs in the blood. You can't say much more than that.
No, and you know that she's a competitor just by her presence in the circle. With Heron, you get somebody that's a little more even-keeled, somebody that's composed. Well, I love that, but I also love somebody that'll give you a good fist pump that just screams after the big moments. That's what you get with Ruby Malin. There is just a fierceness, a competitive energy, and with that pedigree of a family, I mean, she's probably been competing her whole life, so.
Yeah, she's worked for everything that she's gotten. So Ruby Malin, so excited to see her down south in Bradenton in just a few short weeks from now. So we're gonna move on ahead. The Florida Vibe, I hear that they are on the clock once again. We're waiting for our next pick. And Tori, while we wait, you know, it was so much fun to listen to AJ Andrews talk about just the media attention, the traction that not only professional softball is gaining, but women's sports in total. So I just think that, you know, the inaugural season of the PSL, I mean, what a better way to get this started than now when there's so much momentum in this sport.
I mean, now we have NIL deals, $1 million arms with Nyjah Kennedy. It doesn't get much better than that. The coverage has been outstanding, and the culture around softball is so much fun. And so these personalities, they're going to be fun to cover.
It's going to be so much fun to watch. And as we mentioned, like this league top to bottom is just stacked with the best of the best. You have so many teams in different states all over the nation. Florida, by the way, has some unreal talent. You have the Heat that's eventually going to be coming. You have the Breeze as well. So that state is also stacked. But here it's time for our next pick, Tori. So let's find out who the Florida Vibe has picked next. Number 4 on our list. We're going Big Ten. We have Hannah Coor, the outfielder for Nebraska, our first Big Ten pick of this year's draft. And, you know, that is substantial for a reason, because Big Ten softball has been so unreal this year. The talent in that conference is insane.
Yeah, and when you go back to the super regionals against Oklahoma State, you look at the big hits that she had when she was in the box, but also she covers an entire zip code out there in the outfield. There was some amazing grabs, some Sports Center top 10 plays into the gaps. She's someone that defensively is just a walking highlight reel. So I said, you know, maybe let's get some additions in the outfield, just give you a little bit of youth, somebody that's versatile, but defensively, I mean, just a specimen. So Hannah Coor, that's awesome.
That's so awesome. And, you know, the first outfielder that the Vibe has picked up in this year's draft, and she started every single game at center for the Huskers this season. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, another team that is going to be headed to the Women's College World Series. So a bunch of future teammates that are going to be potentially battling it out in Oklahoma City next week. We can't wait to see it. It's going to be so much fun to watch before they end up going down to Bradenton for this year's PSL season. season. So moving right along, we got another draft pick coming up, and Florida Vibe is on the clock once again. So Tori, you have addressed the outfield with one pick there. You've gotten 2 pitchers that are going to be very valuable arms. I mean, I think those were unbelievable picks by this organization. And then you also got a utility player. You thinking maybe infield here?
Yeah, I think infield is definitely something that needs to continue to be built out. We've talked a little bit about the corners, but going up the middle is going to be huge. Of course, that is somewhere you always need locked down, and you need a good connection with your catcher as well when it comes to stolen bases. So I'll be interested to see that, to see if we have maybe a shortstop coming soon, and then also, I would love to see maybe a slapper, some speed on the left side, somebody to just kind of roll and spark this lineup.
Yeah, speed is the name of the game, especially if you've been watching college softball as of late. There's a lot of speedsters out there, but as the clock ticks on down, it is time for our next pick in this year's draft. Thank you. Our number 5 overall pick, Abby Dayton, the outfielder from Oklahoma. So we have a Sooner joining this year's group. And wow, I mean, Abby Dayton, that's a name that you recognize instantly, not only for her play in the outfield, she's going to be an amazing outfielder, like you said, to cover ground, to just be a defensive presence out there. But at the plate, she's really had a breakthrough season this year.
She's someone that you can tell something has just clicked for her this season. I think stepping into a veteran role, anybody is going to get better when they're at Oklahoma, when they're under the direction of Patty Gasso. But I feel like she's taken more responsibility. She's looked like she's kind of loosened up. She's having so much fun playing right now. That's something that you want to see. I think that she's going to bring, let's say, some vibes to the dugout, a little bit of spark and energy. I just love her playing style. She's somebody that's really fun to watch.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the energy. I mean, from that entire Oklahoma dugout, they are always like at a 10 when it comes to their energy. But also it was fun to read about how her saying coming to Oklahoma, she really just regained her passion, her love for the game. She said, it taught me how to play free. And I think you watch her play, you're like, yeah, that's how she's playing right now. There's no other way to describe it. You see the freedom in the way that she is playing softball. So it's going to be so amazing to get that presence, not only in the outfield or at the plate, but just someone who, like you said, is going to bring the vibes up. I mean, it's the heat of summer. I'm telling you, to play a professional softball in Florida, you gotta love the game because it is hot down there. It is gritty. It is just the heart of what softball is. And you have a core of players so far, Tori, that just love the game. That's so exciting.
And in this league, the competition is so stiff. From the Atlanta Smoke, KC Diamonds, some of the best players that we have seen are going to be entering this league with the vibe as well. But when it comes to competition like that, you're going to have the lulls. You're probably going to go into a little bit of a hitting drought. You need somebody that can pick up the morale, that can hold the torch and be a leader.
Well, just like that, we are right back on the clock. 60 seconds until we find out who our number 6 draft pick is. We're already halfway done with this new batch of players. What's your takeaway so far from who this team has gained?
Well, I've loved the fact that we have a lefty and a righty. I think they'll complement each other very well. Of course, you've got the changeup from Heron, and she spins on both sides of the plate with Malin. She's going to throw hard. She's going to use the rise ball. She's going to be an explosive pitcher. I feel like this outfield, there cannot be a better outfield in professional softball. I will say that right now. I think for me, really, my takeaway is let's get some solid infielders. I'll be looking for that. We've got some big bats too, Annie.
Yeah, as you mentioned, outfield looks like it's pretty covered right now. And you had A.J. Andrews out there. I mean, oh my goodness, he is so amazing. And so we're going to move on to our number 6 pick in this year's draft. The clock is ticking down, and it's time to find out who's going at number 6. Thank you. All right, number 6, Tori, they listened to you. They're going with Jackie Liss from Texas Tech, the first baseman for the Red Raiders. So adding to that infield presence, yet another team that's moving on to the Women's College World Series this coming week.
I feel like we called that.
Yeah, we called that one.
We called that one. You know what? I think that when we look at Liz, what I think of is explosion, right? We've got 20 home runs from her. Texas Tech, we talk about Nyjah Kennedy all the time, but one of those bats that has helped her really divide and separate her team from the competition, well, that has been Jackie Liss. She is somebody that when it comes to RBI potential, just knowing that a bat is going to get done when you need it, clutch. That's Jackie.
A clutch player, and she is doing it in the thick of it right now as in the Super Regional play just concluded. You know, in this past weekend, she had 4 hits, 2 home runs in the Super, 5 RBIs in game number 3. She is an absolute menace at the plate right now, and I got to bring it up right now, okay? We talked about earlier the pedigree for Ruby Malin, but can we talk about the pedigree for Jackie Liss? It is on another level. Her grandfather played for the Phillies, the Twins, the Indians, and the Mariners. Her father played college ball with South Florida. He was drafted by the Blue Jays up there in Toronto. He played 5 seasons in the minor leagues. Her sister played softball at Evansville, and then her aunt played softball at Southern Illinois, is in the All Sports Hall of Fame at that university. So playing ball is definitely in the blood for Jackie. It's so much fun to get to see her add to that list of, you know, people in the Liss family that are doing amazing things. She's getting to play pro ball. So congratulations to Jackie for just continuing that family legacy and for getting to continue her career in the game. And I also just want to mention too, I mean, playing with Texas Tech, it was fun to hear her head coach Jerry Glasgow saying that he thinks that her swing that she brings is as fundamentally sound as he has seen in all of college softball. He said when she came to Texas Tech, he didn't change a single thing with her swing. It's that good, which to hear Jerry Glasgow say that, you know it's the real deal.
Well, it's the classic A to B, almost baseball swing that you're used to seeing in the MLB with some of the best. And of course, that's who's coached her whole life.
Yeah.
She's been getting those hitting reps. Everything that she does is just so smooth. Even in the infield, it just looks effortless. And so I think with her, you get somebody that is so technically refined, somebody that's going to lead by example, not only defensively, but at the plate.
Yeah. Well, just like that, the Florida Vibe is back on the clock. We are awaiting our number 7 pick in this year's draft. And while we wait, Tori, only a couple short weeks before you yourself are in Bradenton, Florida, how excited are you to take over as a team reporter for this group and to go spend your summer in sunny Florida?
You know what, Annie, I definitely cannot complain. Right now, we've been in Virginia, and we've had a little bit of heat, but I'm looking forward to the beach, the sunshine, also some characters that I'm going to get to meet while I'm down there because it'll be the Florida Vibe and also the Florida Gulf Coast League. So we'll be seeing the up-and-coming talent, of course, from those college players as well. So pro ball, college coaches, it'll be a ton of softball this summer. I can't think of anything better to do.
Yeah, and good news for you, Tori, because Tori and I went to go watch Duke versus Arizona in the regional, and it was so hot out there, and I was burning like a lobster, but she just gets a beautiful glowing tan. So as the clock ticks down, know that Tori will be leaving Florida after this summer looking gorgeous and glowing. So it's the perfect place for you. We have our number 7 overall pick in right now. Hannah Kamenzen, the left-handed pitcher and utility for Nebraska. This is an intriguing pick right here. A two-way player. I mean, they are so rare, especially someone who does it as well as Hannah does. This is a super fun pick.
I think it's also interesting to think about, we have another player from Nebraska. When you're putting a team together to play professionally, you're starting to think, okay, we have all of this talent, but how are they really gonna click? What's that chemistry gonna be like? To be able to look and see somebody that you've played with for all of those seasons right by your side, I think that's gonna help so much. And when we talk about innings, if you're hitting off of 1, maybe 2, I mean, we've seen it, the best of the best pitchers are being hit at this level in the supers, in the regional. You're going to need depth. That's what she gives you.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, you get the bat, and that's what she really does so well.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned it to me, on such a talented and stacked pitching staff like the one Nebraska has right now. Naturally, I'm sure she doesn't receive the amount of innings that she would like to, but I mean, you have such a loaded staff there, and what she does at the plate is second to none. So it's going to be so much fun to see her come down to the Vibe, probably get an expansion on those innings, and really just enjoy pitching there. And as you mentioned, the two-way players in softball these days, they're just, eye-catching players. Like, you don't want to look away when you're watching a player who's able to be dominant in the circle and at the plate. And again, these Nebraska players are absolutely killing it right now. Heading to the Women's College World Series, yet another. I mean, that's a theme right now, Tori. With these picks we've seen so far, they're all going to be extremely busy next week. They've got business to take care of before they head on down to Bradenton, but that's a really intriguing, eye-catching pick. I love it.
Yeah, you just hope that everyone shakes off any bad blood from the matchups, because I mean, they'll be seeing each other all weekend and next week as well. So you're just hoping.
So far we haven't had any Gators come with Jackie Liss. You don't know how that might shake out? No, it's all good stuff, but that was a fun headline to read over the weekend. So moving on, the Florida Vibe is back on the clock. We are awaiting our number 8 pick. Wow, Tori, we are only a few picks away from being seeing the full scope of what this year's team is going to look like. And when I look top to bottom at the group that we have so far, it seems like we have, energy-giving players, we have versatile players, and we've got a lot of talent at the plate.
I think the only thing that we are looking to do is kind of expand the corners a little bit. We've touched on it, but I think when it comes to the hot corner, I like talking about the hot corner, right?
You
know, I think having a really valuable third baseman, it doesn't get much better than that. Somebody that's so good in the 5-6 hole with the glove. I think we have a couple options looking maybe for a first baseman, somebody that can pick the ball really well, somebody that's defensively stellar on the corner.
Yeah, defensive cornerstones is what this team is looking to gain, and the next pick is in. So let's take a look. Our number 8 pick in the 2026 Florida Vibe Draft. Being selected is Tyrena Jones, the third baseman for the Duke Blue Devils. Tori was right on top of it. She knows the hot corner very well, and Tyrena Jones does as well. I mean, we got to see Tyrena play in person just a few short weeks ago when we were down there watching Duke versus Arizona in Durham. And man, I mean, her defensive presence, she was getting hit some seething balls, and she was picking them up like it was no problem.
I know. I mean, how good is it for us to have been able to go to Durham and then we get to see Tyrena Jones full display. She had the power with the bat. You look at the home runs so far this season, and to be defensively on lock the way that she is, she's somebody that just never gets too high, too low. You look at her, she's just one of those that are a steady Eddie, and that's who you want on the corner.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, she's consistent, but then she'll also have these streaks of excellence. She had 5 ACC games where she hit a long ball in every single game. She had 3 home runs in that regional tournament, 2 of them against Howard, 1 against Arizona. So as you mentioned, you need someone who's going to be consistent for you at the hot corner, at third base, going to be able to be that defensive presence, but also like she just comes to life at the plate in these moments. Like, you don't expect it sometimes. You're like, wow, oh my goodness, Tyrena Jones just sent another 1 yard.
And I think, honestly, if you have her and Jackie Liss on fire at the same time, I can't even imagine what those games are going to look like. Liss, somebody that time and time again has had multi-home run games, and so has Jones. So if those two decide to click at the right time, at the same time, who knows what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a sight. I mean, it's going to be such a fun season. And the Florida Vibe is back on the clock, waiting on this number 9 pick. Only 2 remaining. So we've seen a solid pick at first, a solid pick at third. This outfield has been built out, I would say, to perfection for this pool of athletes that we have available. And then the circle, it's been some really quality arms that play with the best of the best in college softball right now. I think that's another thing that sticks out, Tori, is that these players are coming from the best conferences in all of college softball. They are coming from teams that have to play the best in the nation night in and night out.
I have to just say, what else are we looking for?
Yeah.
I mean, with some of the picks that we've seen so far, I think you can try to dig into that chemistry, maybe pull from a couple of the same teams. You can always have a deeper pitching staff. No one's going to complain about that. But so far from the talent that we've seen, what do we have left?
Yeah, I think depth is the word, just trying to build some awesome depth. And the pick is in at number 9. The Florida Vibe is selecting another Husker, Lauren Kamenzen, the infielder from Nebraska. Oh my goodness. I mean, I think you had to assume you have one Kamenzen twin. They have played together since they were 9 years old on the same team. I guess it's kind of on us, Tori, for not connecting the dots there, that the other one was probably going to end up here with the Florida vibe.
Yeah, I mean, you had both of them at Arkansas. Now you have both of them at Nebraska. It seems like wherever one goes, the other one is going to come with them. And you can't discount Lauren, what she has been able to do in that super regional, the big home run against Oklahoma State. She's also going to be great to have up the middle, played a ton of innings at second base.
Yeah.
So we've talked about, how important it is to be defensively sound up through the middle, short, second. So she does it best.
I think something else that's fun to note is that she is actually an aspiring broadcaster. She's done some color commentary broadcasting, and you have AJ Andrews heading down there as well. Like, I assume that those two are going to be like hooked to the hip, because Lauren's just going to be like, hey, tell me everything you know about making it in the business of broadcasting. So that's a ton of fun. But I mean, to hear more about Lauren Kamenzen and about these players that we've gotten from the Big Ten, I mean, Nebraska specifically, we have gotten some amazing players from the Huskers. We brought in Big Ten specialist. She knows everything inside and out in this conference. Tori had the chance to catch up with Sydney Supley. So let's take a listen.
Sydney, thank you so much for being here and welcome in.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so glad we got to make it happen. And what better week than Super Regional Saturday Women's College World Series to get together and chat.
The Kamenzen twins. Nobody has seen Nebraska softball more than you. What can you say about these two?
They are two players who are going to put their heart and soul no matter what roster they are playing for. I've been so impressed. Let's start with Lauren Kamenzen. This year in particular, she spent all off season understanding her role and said, I'm going to be the best 9-hole hitter in the country. And she did exactly that. You have that type of hitter who's turning over the order, has been the secret weapon for Nebraska. She's a hitter who can give you home run capability. She's also really gritty and drawing a lot of walks, taking pitchers deep into counts, no matter what type of All-American status they're on. Nobody is going to overpower her. And then she's also got a really great range at second base. She's somebody who does a great job at being able to steal away hits that are up the middle in the field. And I just love her work ethic. I think that's going to serve her in every level. And then this has been a breakout year for Hannah Kamenzen. And I'm so glad that she has gotten the flowers that she deserves. She is that part of that three-headed monster pitching staff that doesn't get enough love at times because she's so spinny. And I love her ability to really attack the bottom part of the lineup, the bottom part of any pitching zone. And I think that's what's going to allow her to be so effective at this professional level, because you got a lot of all-stars, but she's been facing all-stars and she's able to handle them by working her drop ball. But you can't overlook her bat. I mean, so often in a powerful lineup, people can get a little hidden, and Hannah Kamenzen is one that has exposed so many teams who have overlooked her. She's got one of the best batting average and then also home run capabilities, but it's her gap-to-gap power that I've been most impressed with. And what I think I love about both of them the most is their IQ in the game is so high. So you see them have one maybe tougher at bat, they're going to immediately make an adjustment that second time through, which what separates the good and the great. And they're also just incredible human beings. So to me, they are so deserving of playing at the next level.
And one of their teammates that kind of separated herself there in game 2 against Oklahoma State, we saw her in the post-game interview, Hannah Cory. What do you have to say about that bat?
Wow. And just the year I've known her, I love that woman. I love the competitor and the athlete she is. You could tell she's playing the game so free, and that's allowing her arguably to be the best center fielder in the country. And I will stand by that statement. When Rhonda Revelle recruited her, she said, this is going to change our entire outfielder. She said, I've never met an outfield specialist like Hannah Cory. And you see that just this morning. I watched her. She cracked the top 10 for Sports Center, and she has made those type of catches all year long. She's going to make it at the next level because she's so quick, but it's also her first step. She's able to, I feel like, really lock in on what a pitcher is throwing and almost anticipate how a hitter is going to hit it. So she's able to get that first step and close the gap between balls that a lot of people wouldn't have any chance to ever catch. And then you look at, this is her first year being an everyday starter at the plate. And boy, has she just blossomed these last few months. I feel like that first month or two, she was trying to not ride the highs and lows too much, but really buckle down and become a great hitter. And she's become exactly that. She's somebody who uses every inch of her body. She's got a lot of long levers. And when she's able to get her hands extended through a pitch, she could take any pitcher deep.
Well, no one knows the Big Ten better than Sydney Supley. Thank you so much for your thoughts. We have absolutely loved having you today. All of the insights that you can think of, and tell people where you will be next, what they should keep their eyes out for.
First of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for creating this space to grow our game. I'm such in awe of the work that you do. And you can find me, I'm going to be in studio the first few days for the Women's College World Series for the Big Ten Network. And then if we keep teams advancing between Nebraska and UCLA, you can find me in Oklahoma City with them.
Well, thank you so much to Sydney for that insight. Again, like if you want to know anything Big Ten, you just go straight to the source with Sydney Supley.
I mean, just talk about a superwoman, her ability to cover all of those teams from sunup to sundown, and her being in Chicago, she's covering UCLA as well. And we all know that when it comes to the Bruins, that they like to play late games, late nights. The last one, I think, was 3.5 hours. So, Cindy, thank you for all of the coverage that you have been doing for us to be able to have some of the ball knowledge that we do and just stay in check when it comes to everything NCAA softball.
Yeah, and you talk about UCLA heading on to the Women's College World Series. We've talked a lot about Nebraska today as well. Tori, I mean, this World Series is going to be an amazing one. Like, when you look at this lineup of teams that are going to Oklahoma City, especially after watching this past weekend of softball, how tight it was. I mean, seeing teams like Mississippi State pulling it out. What are you looking forward to in Oklahoma City this next week?
Honestly, home runs. I think everyone's looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to some fans, how fans can be creative. Of course, we've seen Broccoli Man and we've seen fans tailgating, pulling all the stops. But when it comes to the long ball, we look at Megan Grant, Kendall Wells, Jordan Woolery. The fact that we're getting that kind of production from not only the veterans, not only the seniors, but also the freshmen. I mean, there are constantly being records broken. I thought that we had seen primetime softball years ago, but the fact that every single season the hitting just keeps getting better, I mean, I love it. And the celebrations also too keep getting even more creative. So how do you think that you would be celebrating?
Oh, how would I be celebrating? You know what? Like, why would I want to bring a piece of broccoli out there? Like, I'm obsessed with that celebration. Like, come on, just bring out all the broccoli. Or give me one of those, like, I don't understand it because I guess I'm not as with the times as these players are, but like the sticks of butter that UCLA has. Like, bring out all the butter. I like the prop. I guess that's the celebration I'm going with. If you're going like with Duke, with like whatever, the Mountain Dew celebration, like I think that's my go-to. Tori, what's yours?
Honestly, I love a good fist pump and a scream. I talked about that, but also the scuba. I mean, we saw that here at Liberty. At first, I was like, what in the world is going on? But that has taken the nation by storm. So softball, we've said it. It doesn't get much more fun than this when it comes to sports, especially in the Women's College World Series. So
yeah, it really doesn't get much better. Let's have fun. And with that, the Florida Vibe is back on the clock. We are awaiting our 10th overall pick for this year's draft, our final pick. Tori, you know, we said it before, it's depth right now, but do you see any other holes that you're like, okay, I feel like we could add a little bit more depth in this area?
I think you could use maybe another middle infielder. I think when you're looking at just having some reserves, that's always good. I think when it comes to home run hitters, I can safely say, we're not going to turn them away, but I think we're looking pretty good right now. We've got plenty of speed. When it comes to the circle, I'm feeling really set with what we have, but if you're able to add another arm, then you're going to be happy with that. So I think right now, maybe some spin in the circle is what we could be looking at.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, in today's softball landscape, like the long ball, it works wonders. It feels like this game is more offensive than it ever has been. So with that, we have our number 10 pick coming on in. Thank you so much. And going at 10th overall for the Florida Vibe in the 2026 draft is Alyssa Zabala from Louisville. Oh my goodness, this is an amazing one. Another arm that you're adding to the circle, as you mentioned. Like, I feel like you can never have enough pitching depth, especially when you're entering the rigors of professional softball in the summertime. And this is another great one from the ACC.
I know, an ACC arm, a card, you know, she's going to have to chum it up with Bree Peck and reminisce on all of those days in the ACC. I'm sure that she has seen Bree Peck before and knows of her, so I would be glad that she is on my team. But Alyssa Zabala is so good from that right side. She's got a ton of spin. She's going to be sitting towards the top half of the zone, about mid-60s, somebody that likes to command that screwball, the rise ball, curve ball, kind of use her edges. I would say she's pretty crafty.
Yeah, crafty. I love it. That's what you like from an arm. And it's fun, too, because she's one of these picks that they've had their eye on for a while. She played with the Florida Gulf Coast League, and, you know, this is something that you feel like the Vibe organization was keeping her in mind the entire time. And now she finally gets to come and join the professional softball ranks. So much to be said for her talent. But why don't we just talk right to the source? We have Alyssa Zabala live with us right now. Hey, Alyssa.
Hey.
Well, it's so much fun to get to talk to you. You are just beginning your professional softball career. So how does it feel to be a member of the Florida Vibe?
Oh my gosh, it feels so awesome. Like, I just am so grateful to be able to play for such an amazing team, like such amazing coaches, and like, you know, Ryan, Coach Mike, everyone. Like, I'm just really excited, and I think it's going to be so much fun.
So, Alyssa, I know that they've been keeping their eyes on you. They knew that you were ready when they saw you in the Florida Gulf Coast League, but why do you feel like you're really ready to take this next step and to be a pro bowler?
I think just even like going back to these past 4 years at Louisville, I feel like I've really just been battle tested in so many ways. And it's like, one thing about me is that I like, as much as it matters who you're playing, it also matters what you do. And I just feel like I fully trust in my abilities no matter who I'm playing. So obviously in professional softball, you got great talent up and down the lineup, but I just fully feel like if I do what I know I can do, like, it's just like any other game, and it should be a lot of fun.
And Alyssa, I know that for any college player, like, they are so entrenched in the college season. It takes up so much time and effort, and you've done an amazing job in your senior year. But did you kind of have it in the back of your mind at the beginning of the season that this is something you wanted to pursue when it came to time?
I would say definitely, like, going back to even 2-3 years ago when I was playing in the FGCL, like, seeing obviously like the Vibe right there in front of my eyes, and just like seeing those girls, like, it just looked like they were having so much fun. And I just knew that, like, if I did what I needed to do, it was definitely in the cards for me. But ultimately, like, I'm just so grateful that they even like saw something in me back then and just remembered about me, and I'm just really excited.
And Alyssa, I know that there has to be so many, but in that Cardinal uniform, are there some of your favorite moments or just memories that have really shaped you into who you are today as a player?
There's like so many moments, I literally don't even know where to start. But I mean, I guess I'll start at the start. Like, my first weekend as a Card, just going in, we were playing South Alabama, went in relief. That game ended up going into extra innings, and that kind of just, we ended up winning. That ended up setting the tone. And then coming back the next day, I think I threw a complete shutout against Mizzou. So that was definitely like something that really, like, I'll remember forever, just like the great start that I had. And then as a Florida girl, I'd have to say last year, our shutout win against Florida State, like, that was just so awesome to do, like, being from Florida, obviously. And then this year, like, there's so many memories from this season, and it was just so special. The team was so special, and like, we had like 20 comeback wins, and that alone is just like, I really don't even know where to start. Like, getting wins against Kentucky, Indiana, like taking the series from Stanford. It's just like, it was something so special to be a part of, and I think it's definitely gonna help me to be a part, like, being a part of such a special team like that, help me in the future.
And Alyssa, you're a Florida native, so I have to know, like, are you home with your family right now? Are you guys all celebrating together?
Right now, I'm actually still at school. So I've just been kind of hanging out here, trying to soak it all in before I go back home, because I don't know how much I'll be able to come back in the future. So just kind of staying here, making sure to say my goodbyes to everyone, thank everyone, because it was just such a cool 4 years, and especially being from so far away, like, I just am trying to soak it all in as much as I can.
Alyssa, you're wrapping things up in Louisville. I know that there has to be so many people on your mind right now, but is there anyone specifically that you'd like to shout out that's really been special in this journey?
Yeah, I mean, my coaches, obviously, like, they made this all happen, and they were just like so special in my life. They just like saw something in me. Like, I think Coach Holly, she recently said this, and I like didn't even realize that she like still even really remembered how this all came to be. But she was like, we saw Alyssa last game in PGF, watched her for 3 innings, and like we knew she was the one. So it's like when you hear things like that, it's like it's just so special. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to spend these 4 years with like being loyal to these coaches, because they truly deserve it. And I like accredit a lot of my success to like the hard work that they put in with me. So definitely like my coaches, Coach Holly, Coach Griff. And then my mom was my pitching coach my entire life. So I feel like I just like obviously need to shout her out. And, having a mom as a pitching coach, like there could be some ups and downs. Like I may not have always wanted to hear what she had to say, but she like genuinely made me into the pitcher that I am today. And I couldn't thank her more for the long hours that she put in.
And Alyssa, I mean, all the members of this team are going to be coming to you for advice about what to go and see in Bradenton, Florida. What's your favorite things to do down there in Bradenton?
Well, it is a beautiful area, I will say that. Like, even though I went and played in the FGCL there, like, I grew up going to Siesta Key with my family growing up. So I would say definitely, like, the beaches are obviously beautiful. Siesta Key, Anna Maria, the little, like, beach town areas. Like, there's so many cute things. But yeah, just that. But I mean, ultimately, I'm there to play softball. Luckily, I've kind of gotten to experience it other years, but it's just such a beautiful area, and I literally could not pick anywhere else in the country that I would want to be playing pro. So it is just so awesome, such a blessing.
Well, Alyssa, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on starting your professional softball career, and we'll see you soon in Bradenton.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm so excited, and let's vibe.
Yeah, let's vibe. I mean, come on now. She's clearly so excited to join the Florida Vibe, and we cannot wait for her to join this full roster. Now, we are finished with our 10 picks in this year's draft, so let's take a look at the talent that will be coming to Bradenton, Florida in just a few short weeks to join the Florida Vibe. Tori, I don't think that this draft could have gone any better if you were to draw it up. You have depth in the circle, you have some cornerstone infielders, and you have some talent that can fly in the outfield. What are you loving about this group that you're seeing this year?
Well, as an outfielder, Annie, I am all about some sound defensive players. When it comes to covering the entire state of Florida, I think that this group has it covered. Just so many players that are ready to be a highlight reel. It's going to be fun, posting that on socials, because I think we're going to see plenty of defensive plays this summer. Also, the long ball. Tyrena Jones, yes. Jackie Liss. I mean, the list goes on.
And Bree Peck. She's coming back
Holy.
too.
What in the world?
Yeah, it's going to be amazing to watch, and so many skill players as well. You have some two-way players that are coming in, some speedsters that can get the short game going. So I feel like this was just a complete grand slam for the Florida Vibe this year with this group that they have got. Here we have it, the 2026 schedule for the Florida Vibe coming up so shortly. June 12th is the opening weekend at home, little in-state competition against the Florida Breeze before they take their first road trip and move on to the KC Diamonds. And then Tori, you told me the Atlanta Smoke, they're going to be dangerous this season. Yeah,
you can expect to see Dallas Goodnight. They've returned a ton of players from last season, and they were one of the best teams that we had seen professionally. Now they're owned by Brandon Phillips, former Cincinnati Red and great. And also Cargill, Jade Cargill. I mean, we saw her in WrestleMania, just a complete animal. Love her. Shout out. KC Diamonds, they're going to be solid. You got Cory McMillan, the All-American from Virginia Tech. Shout out to you, Cory. And Rachel Roop bringing it home here to Lynchburg from Liberty, an All-American herself. So talk about a June gauntlet right here. And what about this, Annie?
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that. Come on.
A little bit of action here in OKC, going back to Devon Park after the Women's College World Series. And the Florida Vibe is going to be hosting not one, not two, but 3 professional softball teams. We're going to see Australia, China, and Japan right ahead of the Olympic Games.
Oh my goodness. It's going to be such a fun summer, so much to look forward to. And that Olympic season, it's coming up quick. So we have these players out there sharpening their skills on the diamond. Well, as we mentioned, just a few short weeks from now, June 12th is when it all begins. Before we head on out of here, we want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. A huge thank you to Squares, Mizuno, Camwood Bats, Core Energy Belts, and of course, the PSL. And guys, we'll see you in a few weeks down there in Bradenton. Let's vibe.